it's Jennifer from the Rust Belt Chronicles rock line.
I love that Rust Belt Chronicles.
I know, it has
Cleveland was
grindy sound to it.
Yeah.
And we were here at the Beachland Ballroom and Tavern in Cleveland, Ohio, with legendary band Prong, specifically Tom and Victor. And we're enjoying their bus, and you may see some people crossing out. We're going to try to edit that out, though. We'll see how it goes. We don't want to cut what you're saying, because it's super important. So.
Absolutely.
So anyway, Prong has been around for a long time, which is a great thing. And it's the 12th album, correct?
Yes.
Out now.
Well, if you count the first EP, which I might as well advertise this, which we just released our Primitive Origins t-shirt, which is available by Kill the 8 merchandise, and you can get the link to that on prongmusic.com. And just go to the merch, and we got these for sale. We got them for sale today. We brought a couple from the merch store, but we have our online merch store, Primitive Origins. Our first record was an EP, so that would make it 12.
All right. Well, I was counting that.
Yes. Okay.
Because I knew you were going to wear a t-shirt today. So.
And we have these too. See, I'm just like all decked out in Prong here.
Information and swag.
Yes.
So the way we like it.
But
so,
yeah, we have been around for a long time.
So the latest album is obviously what you're kind of touring
Yes.
on now. I'm assuming you're going to play some of everything tonight.
Yes.
But this is your big push called Days. And
Right.
I've read some stuff about how you guys have been putting out albums like bang, 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 like 5 since 2012.
6.
6 since 2012.
Yes. The first one of this period is Carved into Stone, then we came out with Brooding Lies, then we have a covers record called Songs from the Black Hole, and a live record called Unleashed in the West, another full-length studio record called Prong 10 No Absolutes, and then 0 Days. So if 10 was really 11, but I'm not going to complicate this numbers game with how many records we have. But there's 12 releases, and then there's countless remix records and singles, etc. So there's a lot of releases. But I mean, there would have been more. Like I had a period where I wasn't really doing Prong that much, and it could have been 20 at this point, because the band broke up, and then we got back together, and then I was doing other things. And, but the last 7 years have been intense with Prong.
So has the process, obviously this is something you just do all the time, instinctively, even assuming when you're on the road, has the process of creating these records changed, or do you feel like the themes behind each record changed?
That's an excellent question. It's a really good question. I'm not just
I didn't pay him.
Here, but it's like no, it is a good question, because that changes. Like I mentioned this record Rooting Lies, and I had like garage band, and I was on the road playing guitar with Danzig, and I knew I had to do a Prong record, so I just had this iPad, and I was just coming up with ideas for that, and then it was so rushed, and it was like, you have to make another record right away, and I was like, I got to use all this stuff, so that worked then. And another period, like with 0 Days, I had some time at home, like 2 months of intense period where I was just digging deep and wrote a bunch of songs like in an intense period. So at home, so it changes, you know. And then being on the road, like during like the elections and all the crazy news stuff, like I'm able to, with our smartphones, get informed and listen to podcasts and stay in tune with what's going on in the world, and do other things like read spiritual books, and I throw that in a big mixed bag, and I come up with lyrics too on the road.
Okay, because there seems to be like a lot of sort of counterculture against the grain theme in the latest album. So does that kind of draw from what's going on in society inside you? Where's that coming from?
Well, it comes from me too. I mean, it's I think I'm trying to grow as a person and trying to reflect that into the lyrics, and combine that with a more world-conscious view within the personal attitude of personal growth, if that makes any sense. But that's really where I'm at right now. I can get like, just as angry as everybody else and just spew out serious anger, and there's that on the record too. And there's a little bit of conspiracy theory in there with like 0 Days. The concept of that is like, sometimes I feel like there's an attempt by some elitist oligarchy that are trying to destroy humanity or something. So I don't know if that's true or anything, but I think people sometimes believe that.
Sometimes it feels like it. I hope it's not true, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I always sometimes I'm like, man, it's trying to destroy himself, and I wrote a song about that.
So you pretty much are Prong. I mean, this is your band, and I've heard you speaking in other interviews about Glenn Danzig and how you feel like working with him. He's more a boss than a friend situation. Do you take that to how you run this band? Or
Not at all. No. I mean, I listen to these guys heavily. Like I play with guys that I trust, and like Art Cruz, I go to him on a lot of different things and ask his opinion, and Jason too. I'm concerned with their opinions, and it's being a three-piece. I rely heavily on those guys, so it's important for me to feel like I'm being compromising in a lot of ways. Otherwise, I just can't live with myself. That's just me. I mean, that just works for me. Everyone's different. Everyone has different. I try not to step on anybody's toes, and certain things I do because it's more comfortable for me.
Yeah, it's your band, so you should do what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, somebody was dead to me last night. Actually, the guys in Helm was like, "You need to step down the iron lawnmower." I'm like, it's like it doesn't really. I mean, especially with those guys, Art and Jason have such strong personalities. It just doesn't work. They just won't talk to me for a couple of weeks. If I try to make any demands on them.
Well, you mentioned having some time away and some time to do other things like dancing and ministry. Is there anything that you brought back or learned from those experiences that changed the way you do things with your own band?
Yeah, sure. I mean, anything that you do outside of whatever project you're on, you're going to gain some knowledge, whether you know it or not. Everything is sort of educational in life, I think. With ministry, I don't know specifically what I learned. I learned that I would like to be in a band and run an operation sober. So that was one of the things I pulled out of ministry. And I mean, playing with Glenn, I don't really know what I really learned from that. I just think it may have increased my chops as a guitar player, because I've never been one to sit down and learn anybody else's stuff, and I've had to interpret and learn John Price playing, and I've had to sit with my guitar a lot more than I was with Prong. It was more like I said, it's more songwriting, lyrics, business, and then when I have to do something else, I'm more forced to actually pay more attention to my instrument for a change.
Yeah.
So playing in a cover band, it's like I did something recently. Yeah, it's like I had to do this Slayer tribute. Jason is I have a relationship with guys that they create leverage for me. He was like, you got to do this. We got to do this Slayer tribute thing, and I was like, I don't want to do this. It's like, what am I going to get out of it? And I actually got a lot out of it, because I was like, I had to learn Raining Blood, and I was like, man, that crazy part in that song is and I had to figure it out, and without embarrassing myself. So that forced me to sit down with the guitar and increase my chops a little bit.
Motivation, not very.
Yeah, I mean,
myself goes far in life. So.
Yeah.
So okay.
I call it creating leverage. It's leverage. Everything is you have to sometimes model other people, and then that creates a leverage for yourself.
The cool thing, kind of what we get to do at Russell, is we get to talk to bands that are just brand new and do first-time interviews, and we get to interview people like you who have done a lot of interviews and been a lot of places. And I always like to talk to people like you about the industry, and obviously it's gone much more digital, and there's been a lot of social media and everything like that.
Oh, sorry.
So you're from on information.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Say hi.
Sorry. Hi. Are you guys filming? Hi. My friend Andrew, who's a huge Jets fan, Dork, thinks you're a Jets fan. Is that true?
Total Jets fan.
All right. He'll probably yeah. He's great. He's in Philly. He'll be at the Philly show. Andrew Bonatelli. You remember Decibel?
Yeah.
Yeah. He writes for that. Yeah. He's a great dude. brilliant.
Yeah, I actually wrote a piece for Decibel about the Jets season a couple of years ago.
cool,
Yeah,
cool.
so he knows that.
Yeah,
and it
he's
was with
great.
Henry Hill, because Henry Hill was part of this Jets fan club that I was. Henry Hill.
Oh, cool.
So I took a picture with him, and then it was.
Okay, so I think that'd be the first time I'll be in a room with two Jets fans at the same time. I just remember the fireman guy too.
Yeah, Fireman Ed. Yeah.
Jets.
Where I saw like the Browns, they would just be like, wah wah.
Baker, Mayfield, Bust.
Anyway, what was it? Oh, talking about like.
You say that there's a lot of people that you haven't that are more, young guys. versus, like,
that have have grown up in the total digital media age. And
Oh yeah.
Facebook and all that. Do you think that the newer bands have it easier or harder than?
I think if you're, please try not to interpret this as being cynical. No, but I think it's easier if you're good looking and you have some kind of cheeseball sex appeal these days than it was back, when in the 70s and 80s and 90s, where it was more concentrating on what you were saying and the music and street integrity. Now that could be just falsified easily with digital media, and people go, I am a tough guy, and you put it online and people believe it, where years ago you had to prove yourself. In reality, you have to get in a van and bust it out, and then people go, okay, like he's paying his dues on En Route's Harmony.
Sorry.
And that doesn't. It's easy to be to have more of a general concept that's presented online that people will believe in rather than its reality.
Makes sense. You think things like voice, where the whole thing is predicated on them not seeing visually the person singing.
Yeah,
the entire show is about it. So
Exactly.
that makes complete sense. But you're gonna get to see what's actually
They're
out
like,
there.
oh, she's fat.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm not voting for her.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of sad, actually.
Yeah.
But and going back to that, I also heard that you're not really anti-streaming music. You kind of see it just as part of what's going on right now. But what about the change from making albums to making singles, or even just releasing albums versus
Another
releasing
great
singles?
question. I mean, I think I may be going in that route, basically because one of the reasons is that you make a record and you concentrate on, because I'm from the old school and I want every song to be good. I want, every song is its own creation, and there's a lot of energy put into it, and then what winds up happening is like no one listens to it. So I'd rather maybe just focus on splitting those songs up and letting people be more attentive to each song individually. So now that we put out 6 records in that duration of time that we spoke of earlier, it would be interesting to see how that would work. This is how to get it out there to people, and then that sort of discards the physical product of it. An album is a piece of the whole work that you could put on a CD, but no one buys CDs anymore, and who buys a complete record? So it's very challenging. Well, yeah, I mean, I
Our
appreciate
camera
that.
guy does.
Yeah, no,
Hammy does. So there's 2 people.
Yeah.
2 of us do. Supporting the industry.
No, I mean, like we're selling CDs at the shows, and but it's not what it used to be. So it's just how. I mean, you have to move with the times. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, vinyl has been a solution, and that's a great piece of material that people want to have in their hands. And I don't know how many people play it. They hang it on their wall. So it's those are these. I don't have the answers to these questions, but I'm intrigued with the whole single process, and possibly going that route.
I also have heard you oftentimes refer to music as just being your calling, more so than just a career. It's a calling. Do you think that's what's kind of giving you longevity and the ability to adapt to all these different things versus some other artists that kind of all upset?
Absolutely, because I mean, I don't want to get woo-woo. I don't know if you know what that means, but like get metaphysical with things.
Woo, yeah.
Okay. So, I rely upon that, and it's like, because things get really stressful, and I have to come to these internal decisions on why I'm doing this, or because I mean, quite frankly, the money is there's not that much security in it, and there's like Prong isn't the biggest band in the world, so what do you rely upon? So it's like when it always gets to that edge where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna like throw this in the toilet or in the garbage pail, and I have to like reach out to whatever, like a higher power, or like something always draws me back. There's always something positive that keeps it like I'm laying it all on the line, like should I continue doing this or not? And for some reason, like I'm still standing and I'm able to do it. So I'm not a fatalist that much. I don't know if that's the healthiest lifestyle to be in, to participate in. But on the other hand, like I have to reach out for some kind of like faith in order to keep moving ahead. Otherwise, why do it? So it is sort of calling in that sense, where it's like I really don't have anything else to rely upon other than seeing how the chips fall as they may. Like it's like making records too. Is like when you don't know how they're going to come out, and sometimes say if this record sucks and like if it's really bad, then I'm going to call it quits. But that hasn't seemed to be happening. And like I said with the whole Ruining Lies record, it was like really it was at that edge, man. I mean, like I really didn't have. I mean, we were going in and like how to record this record, and I really didn't have like all the songs in the proper place or demoed, and it sort of came together. It's sort of at the last minute. Paige didn't have to do that. I thought it was Kyle.
You better just put your face
Kyle,
right
you stay
past
down
it.
there. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now they
Familiar faces.
Now it's ruined. Start over.
Sorry.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Paige Hutchinson. The icon, the legend. But it's like, it's like, so that record, that was like the big test for me to see if I was supposed to be doing this anymore while I banged my head on the back of the bus. It was like, and so I was like, I was in this darkest hole of like my whole life was like falling apart, and it just came together miraculously. Like it was like from 1 week it was nothing. We're good, man. This is going well. So it was like it was. I didn't know if I had any material. I didn't know what was going on. We had bits and pieces of stuff, and then everything just came together. It's like, I found a producer that was willing to work with, two producers that were willing to work with me out of nowhere, and then help put these songs together. And then by the time I know it, in 2 weeks I had studio time and we were rolling. And it was like, I totally laid it on the line, and I just had to say, let's see how this what happens here. And it just miraculously happened. So I was like, there has to be some guidance in that. There had to be some external force or some power that made this happen. So like I gained a lot of faith from that. Yeah.
It's follow your bliss, right? That's what Joseph Campbell says. So
yeah, I mean, well, then if you want to get into that, so then I started practicing like transcendental meditation, and I try to have bliss that's not really that part of the material world. I mean, like going out to dinner or going to ball games, and all the things that people do, they're fine and dandy, but there's something more to life than that.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just it takes a lot of work, and to get to those points of a lot of realizing that a lot of things are just false. It's like this. We live in a kind of an unreal world.
I have to agree on that.
Yeah. Thank you. If that's not woo-woo enough for you, I don't know.
I'm okay with the woo-woo.
Okay,
I like the woo-woo stuff.
Okay.
So summer is coming. What's the plan for the rest of this tour going into summer?
I am so busy, man. It's like
kind of assumed you'd be busy.
yeah, no, it's insanity. Like, you know, just when we're writing, I got to go in and like, you know, I have a bunch of songs prepared, and we're gonna try to work on a single when I get back, and then we go over to Europe. Prong does. Then I come back, do a bunch of Danzig dates, and then go back out with Prong again. So you know, it's like everything's sort of booked up, and then amidst those little touring things, I roll into the studio when we start working on new songs. So you know, and then I just moved. So like right before I came out on this, I was putting IKEA furniture together for like like a week. Like just throwing things at.
So this is probably restful compared to
exactly. It was like I was like, you know what, this sucks. I was like, I had to pull things apart like 20 times. I was like, I kept screwing up. Luckily, and I didn't break anything, but it was an interesting experience.
Any vacation time in there? Or
Not
no?
really. I have one of my sisters is. Well, I have my twin sisters are celebrating a birthday, so I may go back to New York for that for a weekend. But that's it.
That's it. Just all work this summer.
Totally.
Maybe a weekend of family.
That's it. Yeah, families work anyhow, so.
That's true. Well, we're really glad to be talking to you today.
Thank you.
We're
Rust
excited
out.
to get to come here and spend some time with you, and it's been really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Thanks,
today.
Jennifer. I appreciate your support, and hopefully.
Go look for their stuff. Go to their Facebook page. Go
get
check
the
out
shirt.
the
The merch, yeah, man, we got some cool shit, and we're selling CDs on
and the
the
CDs.
website too.
Buy the full CDs so you can hear a full album instead of just a single. And
Exactly. If you buy, we have a very good deal. I mean, in the next week, we're going to have CDs packaged with merch at an unbelievably cheap price. Again, from Kill the 8 merch company, or just go to prongmusic.com and click on merch, and you will be opened up to a whole new realm of Prong merchandise, including the famous wristbands that everyone's been asking for years, and we finally have them for sale at your leisure. So thank you.
that's nice to meet you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you.